It all started with Christian calling me and say, "We want you back."
Pretty soon into the episode of 203, we knew that we needed something here that's really, really dramatic and cinematic, because it's this big showdown between these two sisters that we've never seen before.
Jinx!
We did something I don't think we do for anybody, which is we gave him the sequence like right away. Guns for Hire was such a personal, deep, intense story, and you see one of the most iconic scenes from that season when Jinx lights the flare. But season 2 was like, no, we're gonna do something very strange and very unusual. And I didn't even know if it was gonna work until we started bringing it together, and I was like, phew, thank you.
C'est une séquence assez épique où on a deux champions un peu iconiques de la série et du jeu en règle générale qui s'affrontent. On a commencé, comme toutes les séquences, par le storyboard. C'est à partir de là qu'on a essayé de mettre en place la chorégraphie de ce combat.
So the animatic was very early on as well, so I don't think any of us had really a clue what some of this stuff would look like.
I wanted to have something that sounded like a march. It's just the kicks like stomping the floor. So that's kind of like the base of the song. But then I want variation in it. I've added a filter on it so I don't get the bad energy from the low end. So it's only the crispy texture of it.
A wild room?
Yeah, like the start of this is crazy because we wanted this anomaly sound that is terrifying and didn't exist.
This particular sound for the anomaly was going to be used throughout the season in different ways, and it had to kind of evolve and be manipulated. So we kind of knew we had to come up with something so that we could have control of how it was going to happen in other ways.
So I came up with that sound that was gruesome and bizarre, which is a mix of a scream and ancient percussions that sound very tribal, and then a very electronic, kind of like subby sound that is almost pure signal.
For this particular scene, for sound design, it's there to enhance the song and to make the Woodkid song really kind of hit you in the face.
Yeah.
Comme on travaille vraiment à l'image, on a des outils qui nous font évidemment passer d'une image à l'autre, mais qui nous fait aussi scrubber le son, c'est-à-dire qu'on entend un 24e du son sur chaque image. Donc on peut être vraiment hyper précis sur les impacts et ce qui se passe dans l'image.
Everything was discussed with Alex and Barthélemy, the co-director. Every gunshot, every character falling, every sound effects. Everything was an occasion to make a sync or not a sync on tempo.
I think it sounds good already. I think if we do it, you pitch it back down from the 96,
and then speed that up.
And then you take the track and you do this.
I found these little wood sticks that have a very clear, specific sound, and then it creates that little layer of very sharp, precise percussion on the whole track. And that sound almost gives the idea of like time somehow. That I thought it was interesting to like distort time with this kind of like ticking sound.
Je remercie encore le storyboard artiste qui a eu cette idée-là, des espèces de démultiplication de Jace. C'était aussi un petit clin d'œil à l'animation, on voulait avoir un petit effet un peu zootrope, ces espèces de manèges où vous avez de petites figurines et quand ça tourne très vite, on a l'impression que la figurine est animée.
Sound effects team made it even crazier. They really micro-chopped music. So inside of it, by accelerating it so fast, it creates new frequencies. Like it's so small that it gets almost at the scale of a sound wave. And then there's new harmonies that come out of the actual music.
What the hell is that, dude?
So that's a moment of like, the visuals drove the idea for me, right? And it evolved, but they had like, I remember in the animatics, it was like just Jace's face kind of, but I knew it was going to be stuttered like that.
It was really, really fun because it's a real like collaboration with the sound effects team where the music has an intention, but then the sound effects team like pushes it even further. So there's three major things in that song. There's the percussive elements, the orchestral elements, and the vocal.
I think the mistake is to think it as like another line, or just thinking in two line. Everything will be forgotten if you lay down your weapons to the ground.
He could sing melodies over, we could kind of figure it out. With this song, I wanted him to write basically every single lyric.
I was kind of inspired by the craziness of the big leaders of the world, the ones that play with climate, the ones that play with mass manipulation, all these kind of themes that are very current now. So I wrote that line, you walk around the edge of danger and it will change you, the way these characters all change during that show, the way they're all being transformed by the risks they're taking.
And then anytime it gets a little more melodic, you can probably push a little more. How does it feel to reach the
line that no one ever got to cross? Does it make you a god now?
Johan took some risks also with the work on Arcane, you know, especially when he talked about what his preferred ranges, you know, in terms of his vocals, and that, you know, there definitely were some moments when he expressed like, oh, this is like a different range for me.
Everything will be forgiven if you lay down your weapons to the ground. Yeah, yeah, baby.
It was really fun to see Johan and Alex collaborate, because you can definitely tell that they're pushing each other also.
We were like halfway doing the song, and I was like, something's missing. We need to add something to just kind of create tension and elevation and energy. And then I remember that I sampled some of these kids in Japan for my latest record. And I sent it to Alex, and he was like, you know what, I actually have an idea. We should call the lore team, and they should write a language that is linked to the Shuriman and the Janak and the lore.
And there was a person there that knows how to invent languages. And then he'd send me some couplets, some poetry in this language he's inventing. And then, you know, you're teaching kids like gobbledygook that you just made up.
3 and go. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Good.
A really fun part also about the song was the children's choir that Johan suggested, that really captured that innocence between the sisters from the beginning. I mean, I thought it was really fun because we had seen them when they were just these little kids that grew up together as these little girls, now fighting to kill each other, which was just such a wild experience to watch.
Ready? Bar 83. 2, ready, and.